Sit down. I mean it. Put your back against something. Unclench your jaw. Let your hands go quiet. Breathe. Stop scrolling. This isn't the kind of word you receive on the run. My child, I scheduled this moment. The platform didn't find you. I did. If this reached you in your car, in your kitchen, in a break room under fluorescent lights, or at 2 a.m. when your ceiling has become your only companion, that was not random. That was a summons. Heaven put your name on this moment, and I came for you. I know what's been gnawing at you. The delay. The way the calendar keeps turning while the thing you've prayed for seems to be standing still. The way you wrote dates and circled them. The way you whispered timelines into your pillow. The way you measured yourself against markers everyone else seems to be hitting. The way your prayers have felt like they lifted 2 feet off the ground and then, thud, right back onto your chest. I'm not blind to the silence you thought you heard. I'm not indifferent to the ache you tried to hide by staying busy. You've been bracing, already tightening your shoulders, already asking, why isn't it here yet? Did I miss it? Did you forget me? Listen to me. This is not denial. This is not abandonment. This is not me forgetting you in a corner while I bless everyone else in the room. I have been nearer than the breath you just took. The delay is not a closed door. It's not punishment. It's not me dangling hope in front of you like a cruel joke. The delay is an appointment. I put time on my calendar with your name on it, and this is one of those times. I'm going to be blunt with you because I love you. You have interpreted waiting as evidence that something is wrong with you or wrong with me. You've started calling yourself behind. You've wondered if the dream expired, if your faith was defective, if your voice didn't carry far enough to reach my throne. But what you call silence, I call the quiet room where I do my deepest work. What you call stuck, I call held steady so the foundation can set. When you don't hear me moving the way you expect, it's because I'm moving in places you can't yet see, and I won't let you ruin what I'm building by running ahead of the cure. I need you to receive this. I haven't been stalling your life. I've been saving it. Saving you from premature exposure, from platforms your character couldn't safely stand on yet, from entanglements that would have turned a blessing into a trap. You feel the ache of delay, but I've felt the weight of your destiny, and I refuse to deliver you to a future you're not able to survive with joy. My child, I'm not taking from you. I'm removing what was never supposed to stay. I'm not ignoring you. I'm anchoring you. And yes, I hear the voice in your head saying, but it's been so long. Time has a way of mocking hope. The calendar can become an accuser. So let me answer the accusation. The time you call lost is not lost to me. I redeem time. I fold seasons. I recover years men think are gone. Delay in my hands is not decay. It is design. That heaviness that sat on your chest when yet another month ended without the call, without the breakthrough, without the open door. That heaviness is about to be replaced by understanding. I am going to tell you what this delay has been and why. I am going to turn on the lights in the room you thought was empty. Before this word is finished today, I will explain the waiting you couldn't explain while you were bleeding in it. I will name the purpose that was forming when you felt like you were failing. I will put language to the ache so the ache stops defining you. The mystery that sat in your throat like a stone is going to dissolve into meaning. But first, sit with me and let your breath become a prayer. Don't rush the parts of this that prick you. When truth meets tender places, it stings. That sting is not me wounding you. It's me washing the wound. You've been standing in front of closed doors, counting the minutes. You've been blaming your worth for locks I installed on purpose. You've tried to shoulder open a gate that would have crushed you if it had swung wide at your first knock. Hear me clearly. I withheld not because you are unworthy, but because your calling is worthy of more than a rushed arrival. I didn't forget you. I remembered the end I promised you, and I protected the route to get there. And I see your heart flinch because part of you is tired of lessons and ready for life to finally break open. I know. I'm not asking you to love the delay. I'm asking you to trust its author. I'm asking you to treat this minute as sacred because it is. The algorithm is not your shepherd. My voice is. And my voice found you. Let that settle you. Let the hum of everything else turn down. I'm here. I'm speaking. I'm not whispering anymore. So, my child, breathe again. Place your hand over your heart and feel it working. I have been working with that same constancy on your behalf. You will not miss what is yours. You will not age out of my intention. You will not be the only one left standing in a hallway with no doors. I am about to tell you everything you couldn't see while you were wiping your eyes with your sleeve and calling it strength. I am about to walk you through the hallway you called delay and show you why every step mattered. Stay with me now. This is an appointment, and you are right on time. Look at me. I saw you, not the version you curate for people who ask, "How are you?" and want a quick smile. I mean you, at midnight, at 5 a.m., in your car in a parking lot where you let one tear escape and then swallowed the rest because you had to walk back in and perform normal. My child, I counted the nights you couldn't count anymore. I marked the mornings you got up with sand in your bones and still did the next obedient thing. I was there when you tried to turn your sigh into a song and it came out thin. I heard the prayer you didn't call a prayer, the one that sounded like, "I can't do this much longer." I know the conversation that loops under your breath. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm not chosen. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe I should have taken the first door. Maybe that was my only chance. Maybe I'm the problem. You don't say it out loud because you're afraid you'll give it power, but you carry it like a stone in your pocket. You keep touching it to make sure it's still there, and it always is. Cold, heavy, familiar, and comparison has been stalking you. You watch others post the very milestones you wrote in the margins of your journal, and your heart whispers, "See, you're behind." Shame comes slithering on that whisper, telling you that being faithful should have paid off by now, that your slow obedience must be faulty obedience, that perhaps heaven misfiled your name. Listen to me carefully. I saw you learning how to smile for other people's celebrations, while you secretly rehearsed how to leave the party without crying in the bathroom. I saw you send congratulations with sincerity, even while your own hope wanted to hide. I watched you carry a brave face into rooms that didn't know you were trembling. You have not been unseen. You have not been unheard. You have not been ignored. I am not the kind of father who looks away when his child is weeping. I sat with you on the edge of the bed when you didn't want to turn on the light because if you could stay in the dark a little longer, maybe you wouldn't have to be brave yet. I was in the car with you when you gripped the steering wheel so hard your knuckles stung. I recorded the text you typed and deleted 3 times because you didn't want to sound desperate. I heard the apology you whispered to me for being tired, as if I would scold you for the very fatigue that proves you haven't quit. And I need to father you here, that voice that keeps telling you you're behind, that you missed an expiration date stamped on your destiny, that you should be embarrassed by the pace of your life. That voice is not heaven. Don't bargain with it. Don't explain yourself to it. Don't let it rent space in your head as if it pays the mortgage. When the accuser wears the mask of a clock and tries to hand you a label, refuse delivery. Your name is not late. Your name is not almost. Your name is not too little too late. When I speak correction, it comes like clean water, not like mud thrown at your face. I do not confuse you to control you. I do not shame you to shape you. I don't rush you into panic. I steady you into purpose. You've been exhausted by doing the right things while watching nothing move. You kept showing up. You kept serving when your hands felt empty. You lifted your voice in worship while your throat closed with grief. You kept your commitments. You laid your head down each night and told yourself, just be faithful, and yet the needle didn't seem to budge. That exhaustion isn't failure, it's the wear of carrying a calling through a long hallway. You thought I wasn't watching that faithfulness because there was no applause attached to it. But there are chapters written in heaven that are only inked when nobody sees. When you stay kind after disappointment, when you refuse bitterness even when it would have tasted like relief, when you don't weaponize your pain on the people near you. Let me be the witness you didn't have. I know the disappointment you swallowed at the family table so you wouldn't change the subject to your ache. I know the budget spreads you recalculated and the therapy sessions you booked with trembling hands and the emails you drafted, then prayed before sending. I know how your body learned to brace. I know how you trained yourself not to hope too loudly, so the crash wouldn't be so violent if the door stayed closed. I know how you've thought, maybe it's safer to stop expecting, and then hated yourself for thinking it, because you were raised to believe that expecting is what faith does. I have seen the tension between reverence and reality play tug-of-war inside you. I'm not disappointed in you for being human. I made you, and I know what dust feels like. Hear me. Delay is loud to your fear, but it is not louder than my intention. While you thought nothing was moving, I was moving everything that mattered most. I was building room inside you. I was teaching your ears to tell the difference between the noise of urgency and the sound of my voice. I was letting shallow roots snap so deeper, ones could find water you can't see from the surface. I was bending your timeline not to break you, but to straighten your aim. I was softening places pride would have hardened if you had gotten what you wanted when you wanted it. I was knitting a tenderness into you that will make you a safe place for other people's hunger. I was training your eyes to recognize me in small beginnings so that when large doors open, you won't worship the door, you'll worship me. But why this long, you ask me? Because some callings are not microwaved. Some vessels take time to cure so they won't crack under heat. You asked me for a life that could hold more than personal comfort. You asked for impact, for fruit that remains, for a story that feeds others. Those prayers tell me to build you deep. Deep takes time. Deep is slow on purpose. Deep feels like delay to the surface, but to heaven, it's precision. So, my child, take your hand off the stopwatch. Lift it to your heart again and feel me there. Do not let the calendar call you condemned. Do not let comparison turn your neighbor's blessing into your indictment. Look at me. I am the one who numbered your days, and I am not in a panic about your pace. The waiting you called empty has been full of my work. The tears you hid were never wasted. I did not let a single one fall without noting what it watered. And here is where we turn a corner together. Instead of asking only, when will it happen? Ask me this, what have you been forming in me while nothing seemed to move? Ask it out loud. Let your own ears hear the shift. Because when you ask that question, you are no longer accusing the waiting, you are harvesting it. And I will answer you. I have been working in your waiting. I have been working in you. Listen to me carefully now. What you called a closed door was never a verdict. It was a hallway with a hidden room, and I led you into it. Not punishment, preparation, not rejection, protection, not silence, strategy. I hid you on purpose, inside a space most people rush past because it looks unremarkable. The sign on that door said, not yet, and you read it as never. But not yet is the mercy you don't know how to ask for. Not yet is the hand on your chest when the crowd surges so you won't be trampled by a blessing arriving before your bones can bear it. My child, delay has an anatomy. It is not empty space. It is a workshop with the lights dimmed so your senses can tune to my voice. It is where I lay out blueprints and fit the pieces you can't show off on a stage. Integrity you don't have to announce. Patience you don't have to post. A quiet courage that won't flinch when the weather turns. It is where I remove splinters you learn to live with and strengthen tendons that tear under sudden weight. Delay is the place where I prepare you to carry what would have otherwise only carried you for a moment, then dropped you. Hear me, some things you asked me for would have felt like love if they had come fast. They would have felt like arrival. They would have looked like validation, but fast is not always kind. A relationship given early would have married your insecurity. A platform opened too soon would have amplified an unhealed wound and turned applause into a drug. Money without wisdom would have fed appetites that call themselves freedom but leave you emptier. Influence without endurance would have made you fragile in public, and fragility in public becomes spectacle, not ministry. Responsibility without rootedness would have made you efficient and hollow at the same time. I did not refuse you. I shielded you. I am not taking from you. I am removing what was never supposed to stay. Think like a builder with me for a moment. You saw no walls going up, so you called it stagnation. But you don't pour new concrete on top of old cracked concrete. The foundations are shaking because new foundations are being laid. That's not destruction. That's construction. That's not abandonment. That's architecture. Underground, where eyes don't wander and egos don't measure, I thickened the slab. I dug down to hit bedrock where your trust could anchor. I set rebar through your choices. Daily faithfulness when no one thanked you. Quiet obedience when no one noticed. I tested the soil for what could hold you in drought and flood. I waited for the cure. Do you hear me? Even concrete needs time to cure. You can stand on wet promise, but it will not hold a tower. I love you too much to build you thin. And yes, you heard hammers in other people's yards. You saw frames rising and roofs shingled and keys handed over while your plot stayed fenced and bare. You mistook the quiet of your sight for negligence, but I will not rush what needs to last. I will not build you for a season when I designed you for a century. What I'm housing inside you will need deep pilings because storms are real and pressure is real and success has weight. This is why your visible didn't move. I was making your invisible strong. Let me rename the season you've been cursing. You called it delay. I call it the hidden room. You called it stillness. I call it strategy. You called it being passed over. I call it being kept under my wing until the wind shifts in your favor. Inside that room, I corrected your measurements not by shaming you, but by showing you that your worth never was tied to speed. Inside that room, I taught you the cadence of peace so that when doors start swinging, you don't run breathless after everyone. Inside that room, I gave you language for boundaries so you stop equating burnout with love. Inside that room, I taught you to pray with more honesty and less performance, to worship without bargaining, to trust me with what you can't audit. And I know there is a part of you that says, but if I were stronger, couldn't I have learned these things on the way? Strength learns, it's true, but mercy intervenes. The not yet you resented was me intercepting a collision you didn't see around the bend. You were asking for speed. I was answering with sight. You wanted the next door. I wanted you to live long enough and love well enough to enjoy what's on the other side. The delay wasn't me making you small. It was me enlarging you in places applause can't measure, endurance that doesn't panic, discernment that isn't fooled by shiny shortcuts, a spine that bows to me and doesn't bend to pressure. Listen to me. The season you thought was empty was loaded. I hid instructions in it you couldn't understand before because instruction without formation turns into law, not life. If I had given you the details earlier, you would have treated them like a checklist to control the outcome. Now, after the slow work, those same details will feel like light on a path. Before, you would have panicked at specificity. Now specificity will comfort you because you have room inside to hold it. Capacity is what I've been building, not just capacity to do, but capacity to be, steady, whole, aligned. You kept asking me for open doors. Hear me, beloved. Doors do not open safely to hollow rooms. I have been furnishing the inside so the opening won't overwhelm you. I have been teaching you to live with me in secret, so public places won't seduce you. I have been rearranging your appetite so you can walk past offers that smell sweet but spoil fast. I have been restoring the courage to say no when yes would get claps but cost your soul. You think waiting diminished you. It refined you. It narrowed your focus from everything to exactly. It quieted the noise until you could sense the slight nudge of my hand, not just the shove of urgency. And here is the promise tucked in this reframe. When I bring you out of the hidden room, you won't just be holding keys to a door. You'll be holding understanding for why it waited to unlock. You will walk through without suspicion that it's a trap. You will not sabotage yourself because you secretly believe you don't belong. You will recognize the traps the enemy sets in seasons of favor because you learn to spot them in seasons of quiet. You will carry peace into rooms that smell like panic. You will carry patience into timelines that reward hurrying. You will carry gentleness into positions that tempt you to harden. This is the harvest of holy delay. So, breathe with me again. Place your hand on your heart and feel how it beats at my permission, not at the world's pace. Let me settle the label war in you. Stop calling this cruel. Start calling it careful. Stop calling it a setback. Start calling it a setup. When you feel the itch to prove you're not late, remember that foundations don't strut, they hold. The next words I speak to you will land differently now because you're not starting from panic, you're rooted in promise. And as you listen, expect this. The very instructions that would have sounded like burdens in a rushed season will sound like oxygen now. That's how you'll know the room has done its work. The capacity I built in secret is ready to carry what is coming, and what is coming requires nothing less. Listen to me carefully now. Since your heart has settled and your breath has slowed, I'm going to show you what I was training while you thought you were losing time. You didn't attend a conference for it. There was no certificate at the end. But there was formation, deep, quiet, precise. I enrolled you in a school that meets in kitchens and commutes and midnight tears. The curriculum had 3 pillars that your future absolutely requires: endurance without applause, obedience without evidence, and faith without feelings. Endurance without applause is the kind of strength that keeps choosing right when nobody claps, when no one sends a text, when no one notices the small, costly yes. You learned it on days you got up and did ordinary faithfulness, while your heart felt extraordinary fatigue. You learned it when you kept showing up to serve, to apply, to build, to love, when the scoreboard didn't move. And I withheld some applause on purpose, not to starve you, but to purify you, so you would stop being fueled by people's reactions and start living by my voice. Endurance is the muscle that doesn't panic during long stretches of quiet. And I promise you, my child, the assignment ahead will not be a sprint. It will be distance. This muscle is not a luxury. It is survival. Obedience without evidence is another muscle I built in you. You planted seeds that disappeared under soil you couldn't interrogate, and you kept watering anyway. You sent the email, apologized first, forgave 70 times, released the grudge, gave generously when you felt scarce, studied when doors stayed shut, blessed those who didn't bless you back, and you saw no immediate return. But heaven recorded the pattern. You obey without demanding instant proof. That pattern makes you trustworthy. I can hand you specific instructions in the next season, pivots that don't make sense yet, doors that look small but house nations on the other side, because you won't need the confirmation of immediate results to keep obeying. You will do what I say because I said it. That's maturity. And faith without feelings. I know that bruised you. There were mornings you said be near and you felt nothing but your own breath. There were Sundays your worship felt like sand in your mouth. You asked for a sign and got a silence so spacious it echoed. Hear me, I never withdrew myself. I withdrew the sugar. I let your senses rest so your spirit could learn to recognize me without fireworks. You learned that goosebumps are not the proof of my presence and that numb doesn't equal abandoned. That's vital for where you're going, because you will need to anchor others in storms where the wind drowns out every sensation. If your faith only functions when you feel, you can't lead anyone through a fog. Now you can. Let's talk about discernment. Delay sharpens the blade that cuts between what sounds spiritual and what is spirit. Anxiety learned to use my vocabulary when it talked to you. It tried on religious language and sounded like urgency baptized as wisdom. Ambition learned to imitate my tone, promising you quick elevation and calling it favor. In the hidden room, I taught you the difference. My voice does not stampede you. My voice leads you. It may be urgent, but it is never frantic. It may be firm, but it is never cruel. I trained your ear to measure invitations by the weight of peace, not the volume of pressure. I let a few almost right doors swing near you so you could feel how counterfeits hum. Impressive on the surface, hollow at the core. Now, when offers start coming fast, you will smell the varnish on a thin table. You will choose fellowship over platform, assignment over attention, covenant over clout. This will save your life. Character 2. Integrity when nobody is watching, consistency when results are absent, humility before promotion. I saw you close the tab instead of nursing the fantasy that would rot your soul. I saw you answer without sarcasm when insult would have felt like power. I saw you return what wasn't yours, honor commitments when they were no longer convenient, keep a confidence when sharing it would have won you favor. When the room was small and the task smaller, you didn't shrink your honor. That forged something steel inside you. And humility, oh, I guarded that in you. I let you taste last place while you carried first-class gifts so you would never confuse position with worth. You practiced being content without the head seat. Now, when elevation comes, you will bend lower, not stand taller. You will be safe with influence because you learned to love authority without needing to be adored by it. Let me say this with clarity you can carry. Paraphrased from Scripture, testing grows endurance, and endurance, when allowed to do its full work, produces maturity. Waiting exposes what you truly trust, whether it is your timeline, people's approval, your own strategy, or my heart. This wasn't a random grind. This was a sacred gym. You were not flailing. You were training. You were not wasting. You were weaving strength into your days. And I want you to notice the side lessons you didn't know were lessons. Silence taught you to pray simple prayers that carry more honesty than performance. Scarcity taught you stewardship, to assign every resource a mission instead of letting resources master you. Closed circles taught you boundaries, so you stopped equating self-abandonment with love. Rejection taught you redirection, that a no can be my kindness steering you to your lane. Loneliness taught you to sit at my table until companionship is covenant, not just company. These are not sentimental slogans, they are skills. They are the quiet architecture under the public rooms of your life. I hear the voices you've been hearing. You wasted years. You fell behind. You should have hustled. If you were really called, you would have arrived by now. They're going to say you were naive to wait, foolish to hope, irresponsible to stay faithful when shortcuts were available. Don't answer them. Those voices are not coming from heaven. What you call delay, I call fermentation, like juice turned into wine because time and pressure transformed it. I call it a kiln where clay becomes vessel. I call it a musician running scales in a back room, so that what sounds effortless on the stage won't crack. That wasn't wasted. That was how excellence gets born without vanity. Here's why you need these muscles. Your next doors do not only open to opportunity, they open to weight. There will be the weight of other people's expectations, the weight of criticism you didn't earn, the weight of favor that attracts both friends and parasites. There will be moments where you have to choose truth over trend, covenant over convenience, long-term fruit over short-term applause. There will be nights when you will have to carry someone else's hope while your own feels thin. The assignment I'm entrusting to you touches more than your comfort. It touches people, systems, families, and futures. You asked me to make you a shelter, not just a success. That kind of shelter is framed with endurance, roofed with discernment, and grounded with character. Now you see why I wouldn't rush it. So lean into this next line and let it be a turning key inside your chest. If you want me to tell you everything, you must first accept that this delay wasn't empty. Your purpose was being wrapped inside it. Let that sentence dismantle the self-accusation you carry. Let it strip the label behind right off your ribcage. Let it bless the miles you walked that nobody saw. Say it back to me in your own words, if you need to. The training you thought was wasted was the very strength your future requires. Breathe with me, my child. Feel how stronger doesn't always feel louder. It feels steadier. It feels quieter. It feels like you can stop hustling for permission because you finally recognize my hand on your shoulder. You haven't been benched. You've been built. And now the muscles formed in the hidden room are ready to hold what's coming without breaking you or anyone you're called to carry. Listen to me carefully now. I'm going to lift the curtain another inch and tell you what was really happening while you accused yourself of being forgotten. I was protecting you from premature exposure, not punishment, protection, not neglect, shielding. You kept asking me to turn the lights on brighter, to put you on the stage faster, to let the door swing wide so the whole room could finally see what I put in you. And I kept my hand on the dimmer. Why? Because premature visibility attracts premature warfare. Because spotlights are hot and open fields have predators, and some wounds you carried would have bled out under applause. My child, there are covered seasons that do not flatter your pride but save your life. A surgeon will not send you home with a wound unbandaged and call it faith. He will cover it not to hide shame, but to keep contamination out while healing occurs. I covered you while I cured you so you would not bleed on the very people you're called to lead and love. I closed certain mouths around you that would have praised your talent but pierced your tender places. I delayed introductions to rooms that would have been impressed by your gift but careless with your heart. They would have celebrated your gift and crucified your process. And process matters to me, because process is where character roots and motives are sorted, and compassion gets stitched to courage. Hear me. I am not intimidated by big rooms, but I do not send infants into infantry. I watched you rehearse rebuttals in your head for people who never invited you to the table. You wanted to prove you belonged. You were ready to defend your calling against critics you hadn't even met. That's how I knew you still needed covering. You were strong, yes, but tender in places that warfare would have exploited. There were vulnerabilities you didn't even know you had until the quiet revealed them. Sometimes I hid you because you were healing from a betrayal that taught you to distrust your own discernment. Sometimes I hid you because grief had thinned your patience, and you would have interpreted correction as rejection. Sometimes I hid you because your hunger for validation would have made you easy prey for flattery that feels like friendship and functions like a leash. Think with me like a gardener. I don't pull seedlings from the soil just because you want to frame a harvest photo. If I expose tender roots early, the sun that is meant to sustain becomes the heat that scorches. Shade is not shame. Shade is strategy. Chrysalis is not a coffin. It is a miracle in progress. The oven door is not stuck. It is closed so the cake won't collapse. This is what you kept calling nothing's happening. Everything that mattered was happening where applause can't reach. Beneath, within, under cover. And I know how being covered felt. It felt like being overlooked in the group text. It felt like sitting in the back row while people you mentored took the mic. It felt like sending congratulations through clenched teeth because your name never made the short list. You watched doors open for others who seemed less prepared, less faithful, less careful, and envy knocked, dressed in logic. See, if you were really chosen, this would have been your moment. Listen to me. Envy is a liar about timing, and comparison is a thief of context. I did not pass you over. I passed you under my wing, under my wisdom, under my timing, so you would not be devoured by visibility you couldn't survive yet. Let me address the misunderstanding around you. Some mistook your quiet for lack of drive. Some called your boundaries fear. Some named your slow small. They judged your winter with a summer metric. Don't answer them. Those voices are not coming from heaven. If I had let you perform healing you hadn't received, the people you served would have become bandages for your unclosed wounds. And when servants start consuming the very flock they're meant to feed, taking from them the validation that only communion with me can give, that's not leadership, that's leakage. I love you too much to let you leak on my people. Paraphrased from Scripture's pattern, I have always formed certain callings in secret before public release. Shepherd fields before thrones, wilderness before promised land, hidden years in a common town before miracles at a wedding feast, Midian's quiet years before speaking to kings, a baby hid in a basket and then in obscurity, all before deliverance, a dreamer trained in a prison before feeding nations, a wrestler limping from a night encounter before carrying a new name into daylight. These are not legends to admire at a distance. They are blueprints you're living from the inside. I was faithful to them in their hiddenness, and I am faithful to you in yours. You need to hear this next line like I am pressing it into your sternum. I hid you because I value you. I did not mothball you. I marinated you. I did not shelf you. I sheltered you. The more precious the cargo, the more careful the wrapping. You thought the lack of public affirmation meant I wasn't moving. It meant I was moving too sacred a work to risk a crowd. I am not impressed by speed. I am moved by wholeness. I am not seduced by platforms. I am invested in making you a person who can carry me into platforms without splitting under pressure. Premature warfare is real. If I had given you certain opportunities then, the enemy would have baited you with controversies designed to trigger unhealed places. You would have picked fights that weren't assignments, and the cause costume would have disguised a need to be right. You would have poured holy energy into proving your worth to people uninterested in truth. You would have been distracted by defending a title instead of embodying an identity. And the critics, they don't just critique, they excavate. When you carry unintegrated parts, public excavation can feel like dismemberment. I guarded you from that. I am not fragile about your calling, but I am jealous for your soul. My child, breathe. Place your hand on your chest again. This is what protection feels like when you don't know it's protection. Slowness, small rooms, unglamorous assignments. No's that save you from counterfeit yeses. Mentors who tell you, not yet, and doors that shut right when your hand touched the handle. Protection also looked like friendships that faded because they were built on shared frustration, not shared vision. It looked like opportunities drying up because they wanted your anointing without honoring your boundaries. It looked like sudden obscurity after a taste of attention so you wouldn't get addicted to it. Mercy has a strange face sometimes, but it's still mercy. Now hear the promise that comes with protection. When I uncover you, it won't be to audition you for people. It will be to assign you to purpose. The warfare will still come, but it won't be premature. You won't be a soft target anymore. The places that bled are now bound up. The triggers have been mapped and disarmed. The approval you used to crave has been displaced by peace. You won't need a room to confirm you. You will enter confirming who you are. And when others misread your timing, you'll carry the quiet joy of those who know they were released, not unleashed. Let me rename those years you have been tempted to resent: covered, kept, cured, guarded, hidden like an arrow in a quiver until the moment it matters most. I would rather have you arrive whole and a breath later than early and broken for years. And I want you to notice what's rising in you even as we speak. The ache is softening into gratitude. That is how you know truth has entered. You are starting to thank me for doors that didn't open. You are starting to bless the shade that made you strong. You are starting to see that the hand that held you back was the same hand holding you up. We are turning now together from protection into purpose. Because what I protected you for is not a private victory. It is a public assignment that feeds more than yourself. But before we step there, receive this seal over your timeline. You were not overlooked. You were overseen. You were not late. You were loved. You were not passed by. You were passed under my wing, and the wing is lifting. Listen to me carefully now. If you want to understand what I've been doing, I need you to sit with Joseph for a moment. Not the cartoon of him, not the coat alone, but the man whose tears salted cold floors and whose wisdom fed a nation that didn't even speak his boyhood language. Joseph's prison was a classroom. The pit was an enrollment. The betrayal was a syllabus he didn't ask for. The delay was not a closed door, it was a hidden room where I trained a dreamer to become a distributor, a favored son to become a faithful steward. He did not learn governance in a palace. He learned it under ceilings that never changed, with routines that repeated, with hope that had to be chosen morning after morning when nothing obvious moved. My child, you keep thinking your waiting has been about your comfort. It has not. It has been about who will be preserved through your obedience. Joseph dreamed at home, but the dream's meaning unfolded in a foreign land. He had flashes of future, a bowing of sheaves, a glimpse of honor, and he assumed proximity. Soon, here, in the place I'm loved, but love got twisted by jealousy. Brothers who shared his table sold him to a caravan. A house that recognized his excellence lied about his purity. A prison that benefited from his gifts forgot to mention his name when it would have mattered. And yet, every room refined him for the room he hadn't even imagined. The room where hunger would knock on the doors of whole regions, and he would hold the keys to open storehouses with equity, foresight, and mercy. Hear me as I draw the line to your life. Your delay has been training you to feed more than yourself. This is not poetry. This is logistics and love braided together. I have taught you the stewardship of plenty and the patience of famine. I have been building in you 3 competencies that your assignment demands: emotional regulation under provocation, wisdom that interprets seasons, and management that multiplies resources without losing integrity. Emotional regulation first. Joseph had real tears. He wept when his brothers stood before him years later, not as a prince punishing, but as a man remembering. He did not deny pain. He governed it. He did not let offense steer the policy of a nation. I trained you the same way. I let accusations brush your name so you could learn not to spend your energy on reputational wars that only shrink your soul. I let misunderstandings stand longer than your pride liked, so you would stop returning jabs and start returning to me. I taught you when to excuse yourself, to the back room with me to cry, and when to return to the table with a steady voice and a clean heart. This is not performative silence. This is sanctified self-control. Power without regulated emotion becomes revenge. I wouldn't let you steward grain with a hair-trigger heart. Wisdom that interprets seasons. Listen. In a cell where time felt flat, I taught Joseph time. He learned to read dreams not as curiosities but as calendars. He learned that 7 years is not an abstraction. It is a plan. He learned to discern patterns, what to store, what to spend, when to save, when to open wide. I've been teaching you the same skill in your waiting. You wanted immediacy. I taught you intervals. You asked me for a day. I taught you to number years. You learned to say, not yet, to certain enjoyments, so that joy could last for many. You learned to build systems, not just moments. When you felt stuck, I was training your inner weather forecaster, your sense for spiritual barometric pressure. You started feeling when a relationship was wintering and should be pruned, when a calling was sprouting and required tender care, when a culture shift was on the horizon and called for strategic pivots. This capacity, my child, is how you won't waste the years of plenty and you won't panic in the years of lean. And management. Yes, management. This is holy. I taught Joseph to run another man's house. Before he could run a nation, he learned inventory. He learned schedules. He learned fairness. He learned how to be trusted with what was not his. In prison, he was put in charge of small zones and small teams, and he did not despise the repetition. He treated small as sacred. I have trained you similarly. I have watched you assign purpose to dollars, not worship them. I have watched you create order in chaos. Files, plans, budgets, calendars, not because you love control, but because you love care. I have watched you steward your body with rest and recovery, even when you had reasons to burn the candle to prove you belonged. I have watched you guard Sabbath in a culture that forgets it. Do not underestimate this. People love the word calling, but they neglect the word capacity. I stretched yours with gentleness and grit, so you could hold blessings without dropping people. Now, let's reframe the injustice. What they meant for harm, I used for development. Hear me say it with the authority of a father who sees beginning and end in one glance. Their betrayal did not authorize your bitterness. Their forgetfulness did not define your worth. Their false report did not rewrite my report. I braided what they threw at you into the very rope I used to lift you. I did not author their sin. I authored your rescue through it. The hands that pushed you into holes did not know they were pushing you into halls where influence would be married to compassion. By the time Joseph held power, the bitterness had been cooked out of him in the slow heat of delay. He could test without tormenting, reveal without humiliating, restore without rehearsing wrongs. That is the kind of heart I am giving you, not naive, not boundaryless, but clean. Authority is dangerous in a vengeful heart. I waited until your heart could bless what heaven blesses and withhold what heaven withholds without making it about your ego. I also showed you what to do when people forget you. Joseph interpreted a cupbearer's dream and asked to be remembered, and he was forgotten until a timing only I could orchestrate required a voice who knew the language of dreams and the math of famine. My child, you have done favors unreturned, labored uncredited, poured into others who deleted your name in their origin story. Breathe. You were not investing in their gratitude. You were investing in your becoming. And when remembrance finally came, it came wrapped in purpose, not flattery. I am doing the same in you. I will call for you when calling for you accomplishes my aim, not when it gratifies your ache. And when I call, it will not be a trickle. It will be a convergence, preparation touching opportunity, purity touching power, wisdom touching need. Listen to how this lands in your assignment. There are people whose winter will land on your doorstep. There are households that will not starve because you learned to stock the pantry when it looked like nothing was growing. There are communities that will not fracture because you learn to regulate your own storms and therefore can host peace for others. There are brothers and sisters, some blood, some simply familiar, who mishandled you then but will stand in front of you hungry now, and I will ask you to feed them without feeding their entitlement. You will feed with boundaries, you will feed with vision, you will feed with joy that you did not harvest from applause but from me. This is what your delay was making of you, a storehouse, not a spectacle, a shelter, not a celebrity. And hear me warn you in love. Elevation without empathy becomes exploitation. Delay braided empathy into you. You know the taste of being mislabeled, so you will not slap labels on others. You know the ache of waiting, so you will not confuse someone's slow season with laziness. You know the dignity of small rooms, so you will make your big rooms feel safe for the small. This is why you can be trusted to touch influence without turning it into vanity. That's not destruction. That's construction. That's me, laying a foundation that won't crack when critics stomp and compliments swell. Do you feel the reframe settling into your bones? You're not behind. You're being entrusted. You're not late. You're layered, depth upon depth that will hold much. You have not been circling aimlessly. You've been circling walls that are about to fall. In those circles, you learned breathwork for the marathon, not theatrics for a sprint. You learned me, and that is why you will not use people to fix your emptiness when you finally stand where I am taking you. You will pour, not take. You will bless, not brandish. You will feed, not flaunt. Now lean in. We are about to move from pattern to precision. I have not only been forming you in general, I hid specific keys in your waiting while you asked when. I was tucking answers into the very places you resented. Seeds have become keys. Protocols have been written on your inner walls. Now let me tell you everything. Your delay contained keys, and I'm about to hand them back to you in order. Listen to me. Open your hands. I am placing 7 keys in them now. Keys I slipped into your pockets while you were pacing the hall asking, when? These are not trinkets. These are protocols. These are the quiet competencies that make doors recognize you when you stand before them. You thought time was wasting you. Time was weaving these into you. Breathe. Receive them in order and let them lock into place. Key 1, submission. Not resignation. Submission. Learning to surrender outcomes without surrendering obedience. You kept trying to wrestle results into your timeline, and when they didn't move, you were tempted to drop the assignment altogether. So I taught you a holy separation. The difference between letting go of control and letting go of calling. You learned to keep building the ark when there were no clouds. You learned to plant when the field looked uninterested. You learned to show up early, leave well, return tomorrow without the bribe of applause. You learned to say, I will do what you asked even when I cannot calculate the return. That, my child, is submission. It is your yes anchored to me, not to an outcome graph. Submission is faith with a backbone. It's what made you dangerous in the right way. And hear me, this was not delay. This was training for purpose. Key 2, timing. Right is not the same as now. I did not deny you. I dated you. My calendar protects promises. If a fruit is picked too early, it is technically yours, but it is sour, small, and it rots fast. I trained your mouth to prefer sweetness that requires season over quick bites that leave you sick. In the waiting, you learned the clock of heaven, seed time and harvest, preparation and release, night and morning. You learned to trust me when I said, hold, even when you had a green light in your own mind. And you learned to sprint when I whispered, go, even if your legs were used to sitting. Timing is not passive, it is precision. You began to discern that sometimes I slow you down, not because your desire is wrong, but because your strength is still knitting, because relationships around you need to grow roots too, because other puzzle pieces are moving into position, so your entrance does not become a collision. When you feel me pace you, do not call it punishment, call it choreography. This was not delay, this was training for purpose. Key 3. Identity. Your worth unhooked from progress, titles, relationship status, numbers, and visible milestones. In the quiet, I peeled labels that were never your skin, the behind sticker that fear pressed on your chest. The not enough tag someone else hung there when they were too small to hold you. The single equals unchosen. The no promotion equals no anointing. The no crowd equals no calling. Peeling hurts. You felt raw without your old name badges, but I would not let you anchor your value to a badge scanner. I brought you into rooms where nobody clapped so you could feel that you still carry me. I let your phone sit silent for a while so you would learn that heaven can fill a room without a notification. I let your title change or vanish so you would remember this. The name heaven wrote over you outlasts every human line on a resume and every status update. You began to say, I am loved before I am useful. I am chosen before I am chosen for. I am a child before I am a worker, a spouse, a leader, anything. Now watch what happens. Places that used to intimidate you will simply become assignments, not altars. This was not delay. This was training for purpose. Key 4. Discernment. Hearing me when your emotions are loud and the room is crowded with options. Refusing counterfeit shortcuts that dress up like destiny. In silence, you discovered your inner soundboard. You learned to decibel down your fear and turn up my peace. You learned the difference between pressure and prompting, between flattery and favor, between the itch to be seen and the invitation to be sent. I let attractive alternatives pass close by you, offers that stroked your ego but cramped your soul, dates that were magnetic but misaligned, platforms that were tall but hollow underneath, and more than once you felt your old hunger try to grab them. But you learned to step back and ask, is this provision or is this bait? Does this widen my obedience or shrink it? Does this require me to hide parts of what you've said? Discernment is not suspicion, it's sight. I sharpened your eyes to read beyond resumes and aesthetics, to see character and pattern, to notice the telltale crack in counterfeit peace. You stopped editing red flags into white ones. You decided that what is almost right is still wrong for you. This was not delay. This was training for purpose. Key 5. Stewardship. Handling small responsibilities faithfully, so larger doors don't become larger damage. Everybody loves big words like destiny. I made you excellent in little verbs like keep, tend, order, reconcile, return, repair. I watched you steward your mornings, word, water, stillness, so your afternoons would not devour you. I watched you assign each dollar a mission instead of letting money boss your mind. I watched you learn to keep your word when nobody was checking. I watched you treat borrowed spaces like sacred ones, returned on time and better than you found them. I watched you care for your body with sleep and silence when you could have earned praise for burning out. I watched you calendar rest as aggressively as you calendar projects. This is not trivial. This is architecture. Big doors do not fix sloppiness. They broadcast it. The reason influence will not crush you is because you have become a person who can carry weight in the dark. You can be trusted to multiply what is placed in your hand without multiplying harm. This was not delay. This was training for purpose. Key 6. Healing. Closing wounds that would have leaked into your future marriage, ministry, career, or calling. I brought you face to face with the ache you were trying to outrun, the father wound you had normalized into I'm fine, the abandonment story you had disguised as independence, the shame you had managed through achievement, the jealousy that was really grief. I sat with you in rooms you preferred to avoid. I led you to wise counsel. to prayer that groaned more than it spoke, to forgiveness that felt like handing me the right to avenge, while you chose to bless and set boundaries. I taught you to apologize without self-hatred. I taught you to forgive without pretending nothing happened. I taught you to name patterns you inherited and cut them off at the root instead of baptizing them as my personality. And slowly, the infection drained. The scar remains, but it is a testimony, not a trigger. Now, when love arrives, you will not punish it for someone else's sin. When opportunity arrives, you will not sabotage it to prove your prophecy wrong. When pressure arrives, you will not leak pain onto people and call it passion. This was not delay. This was training for purpose. Key 7, authority. Learning spiritual authority in private so public pressure doesn't collapse you. I met you in hidden places and taught you how to stand. Not with volume, with weight. I trained your tongue to agree with me until your atmosphere changed. I taught you to say no to darkness when it tried to squat in your house. Oppression, confusion, cycles, and not negotiate with it. I taught you to speak peace to your own storms before you ever tried to calm someone else's. I taught you to resist the enemy until he backed away, not because you argued well on the internet, but because you were submitted to me in the unseen. You learned to fast when your flesh screamed busy. You learned to sing when despair whispered mute. You learned to open my word until it opened you. You learned to host my presence at your own table, so you wouldn't be intoxicated by any other table. Private authority builds public stability. Titles can't give you this, and critics can't take it. And when the weight of rooms increases, you won't sag. You will sense my yoke, easy, and my burden, light, because you trained with it in the dark. Again, hear me, this was not delay. This was training for purpose. Hold these keys up to the light now. See how they catch it? Submission, timing, identity, discernment, stewardship, healing, authority. Do you notice the order? They interlock. Submission softens you to obey. Timing matures that obedience into patience. Identity roots you so you don't obey to be loved. You obey because you are. Discernment guides your yes and your no. Stewardship turns single acts into systems that sustain. Healing seals the cracks so what you carry doesn't seep out. Authority crowns it all so you stand steady when eyes are on you and when they are not. This is why the door has resisted you until now. You were being fitted, not rejected. I can feel you exhale. That exhale is worship. Don't rush it. There is one more truth I want to fasten to your ribs. Keys are meant to be used, not admired. You have not simply collected lessons. You have been altered, and altered people move differently. You will notice even this week that familiar temptations will knock. Hurry, people-pleasing, over-explaining, proving, clinging to what is falling apart, and you will feel a new interior strength, a silence where panic used to live. Use it. Turn the key. Don't rehearse pain. Release it. Don't defend what I already named clean. Walk in it. Don't claw for a platform. Build a table. Don't barter with counterfeits. Bless them on their way and wait for the real. Let me be blunt because I love you. Stop calling what I call construction stagnation. Stop labeling what I call school failure. You weren't stuck. You were being specialized. The reason this has felt lonely is because classrooms at this level seat fewer students. But graduation is not a party. It is ascending. And I am sending you with this. The permission to be formed was never wasted time. It was the making of a life that can hold what is about to be placed on it. So, my child, place your hand on your heart. Say quietly with me, this was not delay. This was training for purpose. Again, this was not delay. This was training for purpose. Let that confession become the new narration playing in your inner world when old voices try to rename your years. And when you hear yourself say it, believe me when I tell you, these keys are not symbolic, they are functional. In the next 7 days, you will find moments where each one fits. You will feel the click. You will watch something that never budged begin to turn, not because you finally became worthy, but because you finally became ready. I have not wasted 1 hour. I have not ignored 1 tear. I have not missed 1 reversal. I have been building you, not punishing you, preparing you, not shelving you. And now that you see the keys, carry them with honor. We are stepping into the next room together, and the door that once looked stubborn will swing, not by force, but by fidelity. You and I, hand on the handle, heart at rest. Stop. Listen to me. The next door will not recognize a name tag, fear stuck to your chest. If you want what I have promised to sit safely in your hands, we must settle this now. Stop calling yourself behind. That word did not come from my mouth. It came from fear trying to narrate your life louder than love. Lay that label on the table. I know it has felt familiar. I know you've said it under your breath while scrolling. I know you've mouthed it at mirrors and milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, job reviews, holidays where the chair you hoped would be filled still sits empty. But hear me, familiarity is not authority. If a lie stays long enough, it can feel like home. It is still a lie. Name the chorus that's been singing over you. Late, forgotten, too much, not enough. Second choice, always, almost. I see the way those words burrowed into you. A parent who could not bless you made too much your story. A boss who didn't see you branded you not enough. A breakup that blindsided you wrote second choice in permanent marker across your hopes. A series of near opportunities tattooed always almost on your expectations. And every time someone else crossed a finish line, you were aiming toward a wedding you stood beside but didn't walk into, a promotion you trained for but watched go elsewhere, a housewarming you celebrated while driving back to your rental. You let late and forgotten set up a bedroom in your mind. But listen to me carefully. Those labels are not skin. They are stickers. They were pressed on you by disappointment, by tired authority figures who spoke from their own fear, by past relationships that didn't have the maturity to hold you, and yes, by your own comparisons. A sticker can feel like skin when it's been there long enough. It peels, it pulls hair, it stings. Peeling hurts, but it is still a sticker. I am peeling now. I am reasserting what I wrote over you before anyone else had an opinion. Chosen, kept, prepared, entrusted. I am not asking you to imagine a new identity. I am restoring the one that has always been true in me. Chosen does not mean the path is smooth. It means the path is guided. Kept does not mean you were never touched by storms. It means the storm did not own you. Prepared does not mean you had every answer in year 1. It means I have been faithfully building you for year 7. Entrusted does not mean you are superior. It means I can put weight on you without you collapsing or using it to crush others. And I hear the internal accuser gearing up right now. If you were chosen, where was God when they passed you over? If you were kept, why do you still feel the ache? If you were prepared, why did the doors stay closed? If you were entrusted, why are you still in a small room? Do not answer that voice. Do not debate it. Replace it. You do not negotiate with accusations that refuse to learn. You evict them by speaking a better truth. The enemy loves a back and forth. It keeps you dizzy and delayed. Heaven speaks once and stands. So replace it. When late rises, say, I am right on time in your calendar. When forgotten whispers, answer, I am remembered by the one who schedules seasons. When too much hisses, declare, I am exactly portioned for my assignment. When not enough mocks, confess, I carry more than I knew because you dwell in me. When second choice taunts, respond, I am divinely selected for what bears my name. When always almost points to your history, proclaim, I walk in appointment, not accident. This is not positive thinking. This is identity agreement. Listen to me now, because this is where the hinge turns. If you want the delay to break, you must stop partnering with the identity it tried to give you. Delay will try to dress you. It will hand you garments called cynical, resigned, spectator, bitter but functional. Do not wear them. Refuse the wardrobe. You cannot carry the keys I just placed in your hands while gripping the old name with the other. The door you're approaching reads what's on your heart before it swings. It is looking for submitted, on time, beloved, discerning, faithful, healed, under authority, not behind, not less than, not almost. I'm going to be blunt because I love you. Some of you keep refreshing timelines like a weather app, forecasting your worth based on other people's seasons. You count rings on someone else's tree and declare your sapling a failure. You look at age and you panic. You look at followers and you shrink. You look at family status and you ache. I am not indifferent to that ache. I am interrupting the lie built on it. You are not a product in a store going stale on a shelf. You are a seed sown by a wise farmer. Different seeds break the ground in different weeks. What you have called behind is often root work. Roots take time. But when the visible comes, it comes strong. You can't pour new concrete on top of cracked concrete. I cleared what was cracked. That wasn't abandonment. That was architecture. And to the one who keeps apologizing for existing, for your voice, your joy, your ideas, because someone called you too much. Hear me. Your too is someone else's rescue. I am not asking you to shrink. I am teaching you to steward. Your intensity becomes intercession when it is submitted. Your creativity becomes strategy when it is timed. Your passion becomes shelter when it is healed. Don't amputate gifts to make insecure rooms comfortable. Find your right room. I have one with your capacity measured into its walls. To the one who has tried to bulk up your resume to outrun not enough, lay that armor down. You are not auditioning for a father who already chose you. Excellence is beautiful. Scrambling is bondage. You don't have to juggle to be embraced here. Breathe. Let me speak your measurements. Loved before productive. Valued before visible. Sent before celebrated. I know you fully. The parts you're proud of. The parts you wish would disappear. I have not flinched. I have not revised my plan. Now, a simple instruction you must practice until it becomes reflex. When you catch behind forming on your tongue, stop mid-sentence. Replace it out loud with in his hands, on his time. Do not give hell the satisfaction of hearing you curse your own season. When you feel the familiar pull to calculate your life against someone else's highlight, close the app, put your hand on your heart, and say, chosen, kept, prepared, entrusted. Train your tongue to partner with heaven. Your mouth steers your moments more than you know. And listen, stop memorializing your misnaming. You don't need to retell every audience how you were overlooked to prove that you're humble. Humility is not self-erasure, it's truth under God. Tell the story when it frees others, not when it feeds the label. Move like a person renamed. Stand a little taller in your own kitchen. Walk into your office, whatever size it is, as someone on assignment, not as a tag-along trying to justify their seat. If a room makes you feel counterfeit, ask me whether the room is wrong or the label is loud. I will answer you. I am not vague with my children. So, my child, hear my verdict and let it stick where the stickers once lived. You are not behind. You are in my hands. I have been forming meaning under the surface while you were measuring minutes on top. The calendar that matters most is the one I hold, and I have not lost a page. We are on schedule, heaven's schedule, not fears. Identity first, then instruction. I will tell you what to do next. but I will not let you build the next season on a cracked name. Agree with me now. Chosen, kept, prepared, entrusted. Say it. Feel your shoulders lower as the truth settles. Good. Hold that. We are moving, and you will move as who you are, not as who your delays tried to convince you to be. Listen to me. Keep your hand on your heart for one more breath. Good. Now hear me with the same clarity that just renamed you. Stop catching plates. I love you too much to soften this. You have been running around a collapsing table trying to rescue what I am deliberately dismantling, and it is slowing your release. Let it fall. I mean it. Let it fall. You are asking me to accelerate while your fingers are still gripping the brakes. You pray, open the door, but with the other hand you are propping up a wall I'm taking down to build that very doorway. That's why there's friction. That's why the hallway feels crowded. You are carrying furniture from a house I already condemned because I'm pouring a new foundation on that lot. Hear me. That's not destruction. That's construction. That's not abandonment. That's architecture. Let me name the plates you keep reaching for, so you don't rationalize them into treasures. The relationship you are keeping alive by fear, not by fruit. You call it loyalty, but you've been bargaining with anxiety every night to pretend it's love. Let it fall. Bless them. Release them. I will not let you sacrifice your calling to subsidize someone else's refusal to grow. The job identity you wrapped around your soul like a safety blanket. Your role, your title, your corner of the office, none of these are your name. If I shift you, I'm not demoting your worth. I'm relocating your assignment. Stop negotiating with me about optics. Let it fall. The image you curate because you think approval is oxygen, the grid you must maintain, the perfect answers that keep you safe, the smile that hides the ache. I am not interested in you editing yourself into a palatable version so frightened rooms will clap. If public perception is the God you serve, you will miss the table I prepared for the real you. Let it fall. The habit that numbs you, the scrolling that swallows your hours, the late-night food you offer your loneliness like a truce, the screen that sings you to sleep because silence terrifies you. I am not shaming you. I am rescuing you. Let it fall. I will teach your nervous system a new song. The timeline that controls you, the calendar you carved into your bones with dates for love, promotion, visibility, the internal stopwatch that condemns you every morning. Put it in my hands. Write over it what I taught you to say, in his hands, on his time. Let it fall. Listen, my child. Some delays have been purely opposition, yes, but some have been the mercy of heaven refusing to drag into tomorrow what you insisted on dragging. You keep asking why the wind isn't filling your sails. You've chained your boat to the dock. The chain is not a demon, it is a decision. Release it. I am with you in this, but I will not partner with your maintenance plan for what I'm removing. I don't argue with idols. I topple them for your good. I know what you're thinking already. But if I let this go, won't I be alone? Won't I be foolish? Won't I waste the years I've invested? Won't people talk? Listen to me. You will never be alone when you walk with me. You may be misunderstood for a moment, but I am not building your future on other people's misunderstandings. As for the years, nothing surrendered to me is lost. Seed dies in the ground before it multiplies, and you have been trying to keep your seed on a shelf so it looks alive. Plant it, let it fall into the earth of trust. I am the Lord of harvest. I know what I'm doing. Here is what most people miss. Release is not passive. It is an active obedience that clears the site so I can pour. You can't pour new concrete on top of old cracked concrete. The cracks you tried to grout with busyness, bargains, and bravado, I am clearing them. That wasn't abandonment. That was architecture. Demolition day is loud, but it is love. Now I'm going to ask you to do something with your body, because your body has been part of the clinging. Open your hands. Unclench your fists. Feel the tremor in your fingers. That is where fear has been living. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Now, say this to me, simple, honest. Father, I release what you are removing. Give me courage to let it fall. I trust your hands more than my habit. I surrender timelines, titles, props, and numbing. Keep what is covenant, shatter what is counterfeit. Your will, your way, your time. In Jesus' name, amen. Stay here with me a moment. Let the words settle. Don't rush back to pick up what you just laid down. Some of you are already inventing a rope to tie around the plate, just in case. Cut the rope. Partial surrender is delayed surrender. You keep letting go with one hand while the other hand holds a string. That string is why the drag remains. This is the hour to sever it. To the one in a relationship that has been an endless cycle of you shrinking to fit, I am not punishing the other person. I am protecting both of you from a merger that would multiply dysfunction. Bless. Step back. Watch me work. You will not be the savior. I already am. To the one whose job title has become your heartbeat, I may use that office for a season longer, or I may move you into a room where your voice was designed to echo. Either way, your oxygen was never your email signature. Do your work as worship, not as worth proving. If I nudge you to apply, apply. If I nudge you to stay, stay with clean hands, not clenched ones. Let the identity fall. Keep the assignment open. To the one addicted to being seen, step into the quiet I set for you, not as punishment but as recalibration. You don't owe the crowd an explanation for your stillness. Silence is not absence, it is strategy. The applause you crave cannot hold you in the long night. My presence can. Let the image fall. To the one who numbs, this will be a fight, and I am not naive about that. But you are not at war alone. Replace the late scroll with a walk with me. Replace the secret stash with the bread that makes you alive. Replace the hiding with confession to a safe, wise person I will highlight. Surrender is not a vague feeling. It has verbs. Let it fall. To the planner who measures safety in months and milestones, remove the expiration dates you assigned to my goodness. I do not expire. Your by now is not my too late. Give me your calendar and I will give you peace. Let it fall. Hear me gently and firmly. I am not asking you to abandon what I called covenant, nor to neglect assignments I gave you. I am asking you to stop resuscitating what I have pronounced finished, to stop calling what I am pruning persecution, and to stop treating idols like heirlooms. The things that are truly from me, I keep them, I water them, I protect them through storms. The things that shatter under obedience were never your portion. Do you trust me to distinguish the two? I do not fumble my children. You want to know why peace has felt distant? Because peace enters rooms with open windows, and you've been taping yours shut to keep the old air in. Open the window, let the stale out. Fresh air is going to feel strange at first. Strange is not wrong. Strange is new. You have asked me for new. New requires room. Room requires release. This is where acceleration lives, not in frantic effort, in surrendered alignment. When you let what is not me fall, weight lifts off your ankles. Decisions clarify. Conversations that used to twist you stop holding you hostage. Creativity returns like oxygen to your lungs. Unexpected favor knocks, not because you finally earned it, but because your hands are finally empty enough to receive it. There is a door waiting for hands like that. Let me be blunt one more time, because I am guarding your future. Stop trying to salvage every shard just because you paid for the plate. Your investment does not make it holy. Your history with it does not obligate your destiny to it. I count your tears. I honor your labor, and I also command your freedom. Let it fall. Place your hands wide again. Whisper with me. Not destruction, construction, not abandonment, architecture, not breaking, breaking open. I yield, I release, I trust. Good, stay there. The clearing has begun. You will feel it in your day. Less noise, more knowing. And when the urge rises to run after what is mid-fall, hear my voice interrupt you like a hand on your shoulder. My child, I have this. Keep walking, eyes on me, hands open, heart at rest. We are moving, and you are moving lighter. Stay with me here. Do not rush the moment you just made. Let the quiet in your chest finish stretching. Now comes the shift. Hear me clearly. The door opens when the vessel can hold what's on the other side. Doors do not open because you pound harder. They open when your form can carry what the threshold leads into. I am not withholding. I am safeguarding. I have been shaping you into a container that won't rupture under what you asked me to pour. Think of what I taught when I walked among you. New wine requires a new wineskin. That wasn't a clever proverb. It was a principle of mercy. If I poured what is fresh into what is brittle, the very blessing would burst you and spill on the ground. I refuse to waste you. I refuse to waste what I've been pressing. So I softened you with surrender. I massaged oil into the fibers of your life through delay. I remade your frame so expansion could happen without tearing. That tension you felt, it has been stretching, not splitting. That ache at the edges, capacity being increased. This is why I have insisted on the internal first. You wanted me to force open public doors. I wanted to build private rooms that could hold them. Now, because you let what is not me fall, the vessel is changing. Your boundaries are clearer. Your yes is cleaner. Your motives are lighter. Your discernment is sharper. You can feel it even now. The noise that used to hijack you has lost its volume. That is not imaginary. That is architecture completed in secret. And when the blueprint matches the ground, the build accelerates. Listen to me carefully. Acceleration is not frantic. It is alignment. Acceleration is what happens when timing, wisdom, and obedience stand shoulder to shoulder and face the same direction. One right yes at the right time can redeem years of scattered effort. One conversation I set up, one room I prepared, one helper I bring alongside who carries complementary strength. These are the ways I compress time without violating process. You've tried to cook destiny on high heat. I've been marinating purpose until it's tender enough to feed more than just you. Sudden does not mean careless. It means you are ready. But will it really change, Lord? I'm afraid to believe again. I know. I see your hope flinch when you reach for it, as if it might burn you for trying. Hear me. I am gentle with your hope, and I am firm with my promise. I will not mock your expectancy. I do not tease my children. I will not let you down when you put your weight on what I have actually said. Be wary of fantasies you wrote for yourself and then stamped with my name. Yes, but do not be wary of me. I can carry your hope. I authored it. Here is what I am going to tell you everything looks like in a life like yours. It means patterns will begin to stand up from the page of your days like raised print under your fingers. You will recognize that what felt random was rehearsal. You will meet helpers you didn't hunt for, names highlighted, messages that feel like a hand on your back saying, "This way." You will hear my no and not be confused. It will not feel like punishment, but like a firm hand on the wheel, keeping you out of a ditch. You will revisit rooms that used to enchant you and suddenly know, if this had opened then, it would have swallowed me. You will find yourself understanding why the earlier yes would have deformed your gift. That understanding is not bitterness, it is wisdom. wear it. The shift often begins invisibly. Do not despise that. Some of you will wake tomorrow with a quiet you cannot explain, a settledness that holds even when nothing around you has moved yet. That is the first creak of the hinge. Peace that doesn't match the forecast is a sign the door has begun to release. Then, little movements. Emails you didn't send answered with favor. A meeting you could not schedule suddenly requesting you. A skill that used to overwhelm you, clicking into place. Resources aligning without the old chase. Confirmation will come in layers, so your trust can grow in layers. I am not afraid to repeat myself in gentle ways until you are sure. Do not let the fear of being disappointed train you to avoid all expectancy. That is not wisdom. That is self-protection masquerading as discernment. Put your hope where it belongs, in me, not in a single outcome. Hope anchored in me can survive reroutes because it knows the driver. You are not betting on your ability to predict. You are resting in my ability to lead. I am not late. I am precise. And hear me. There will be an ease that is not laziness. You have known grind. You are about to know grace. Ease does not mean you do nothing. It means you move with an unforced rhythm where doors open to your knock because I already spoke your name on the other side. You will work, yes, but you will not strive for identity. You will build, but you will not bargain your soul to get materials. You will contend, but you will not wrestle me to bless what I am not building. Your strength will feel like partnership, not panic. Let me be blunt so you do not sabotage the new. The same old strategies you used to survive will not carry you in this next room. Old wineskins do not stretch themselves. They are made new by oil and hands. Stay close to my hands. Keep soft. Keep listening. Keep short accounts with me. When I nudge you to rest, rest. When I nudge you to speak, speak. When I nudge you to wait, wait without sulking. When I nudge you to move, do not host a committee meeting with fear. Faith is not theater, it is trust in motion. Some of you will feel me assigning weight to your words again. Do not waste it. Speak life where I point. Some of you will watch a gift you thought died come back like a limb waking from sleep, tingling, awkward, alive. Do not mock it because it feels different. New capacity often feels strange before it feels strong. Strange is not wrong. Strange is new. Steward the new with humility and courage. Ask for help. I am sending it. And to the one bracing for criticism the moment you step through, hear me now. They will say you rose too fast. They will say you don't deserve it. They will call it luck. Don't answer them. Your story is not up for debate with voices I did not authorize to shape you. Stay with me in the room I open. Let your fruit talk. Let your peace be your rebuttal. Those voices did not sit with you in the hidden room. They did not cry your tears. They did not hold your hand in the night. I did. You will know the right door because it will require your grown capacity, but not violate your healed identity. It will feel weighty and right. It will ask for your discipline and your dependence. It will honor what I have been forming, not demand you amputate it. The wrong door flatters and then feeds on you. The right door fits you like a calling you recognize from a dream you barely remember, familiar and holy. So lift your eyes, stand up on the inside, breathe, say it with me under your breath if you need to. I am ready to hold what you pour. Your hands are open now, your name is truer, your vessel is softer, your foundations are cleared. That wasn't destruction, that was construction. What's on the other side will not crush you. It will not leak away. It will not own you. You will steward it. Watch this week for the first layer of confirmation, subtle to most people, obvious to your spirit. Watch for the peace that interrupts you in a place that used to spike your anxiety. Watch for a conversation you didn't orchestrate that places a missing piece in your hand. Watch for me to say no and for you to thank me for it. This is how you will know. The door is moving, and when it swings, step. Not with apology, with gratitude, with reverence, with the quiet confidence of someone who survived the shaping and is ready, truly ready to hold what I am about to pour. Listen to me. I am placing tools in your hands for the next 7 days. Small, precise, ordered. Do not despise small. Small hinges swing large doors. You asked for momentum. Momentum answers order. Not panic, not performance, order. These are not hoops to make me like you more. I already love you. These are rails that allow the train to move without derailing the cargo I am about to entrust to you. My favor is a gift. These steps are how you stand under it without spilling. Instruction 1. Return to the last clear instruction I gave you and finish what you abandoned in discouragement. You know the one. The page you closed when the criticism stung. The application you saved as a draft because fear said, "What if you fail?" The letter you wrote but never sent. The course you started but let grow dusty. The practice you stopped because it made you feel small. Go back. Open it. Complete it. Not perfectly. Faithfully. I am not asking for fireworks. I am asking for follow-through. Heaven marks completion. When you tie off what discouragement frayed, you recover authority the delay tried to steal. Before you begin anything new this week, finish that thing. If it requires multiple days, break it into obedient segments and cross one segment off each day. Every checkmark is a nail in the floorboards of your new room. Feel the solidity returning? That's not busyness. That's integrity being reseated in you. Instruction 2. Establish a daily stillness window. Short, consistent, distraction-free. Pick a time you can honor. Morning before the noise rises, lunch in your car, evening when the house quiets. Set it for 7 minutes. Put the phone in another room. No music, no multitasking. Sit, breathe. Put one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Whisper, "Speak, I'm listening." Then stop talking. Let your thoughts settle like snow in a shaken globe. When the swirl clears, write the impression that lands. Not the 10 ideas that sprinted through your mind to feel in control, but the one sentence that rests heavy and kind. If nothing comes, stay anyway. Stillness is a seed, not a vending machine. Do it every day for 7 days at the same time. Consistency is the scaffolding of sensitivity. You are training your soul to hear the soft hinge creak before the door swings wide. Instruction 3. Remove one counterfeit comfort that keeps your spirit dull. Choose one and be honest. Doom scrolling that numbs you into late-night fog. The text thread that always leaves you small and tangled. The secret snack of images you offer to loneliness. The extra pour that promises rest but steals your morning. The sarcasm you wear like armor. Pick one. Name it out loud. Then fast it for these 7 days. Do not just subtract. Replace. Replace the scroll with a walk while you talk to me out loud. Replace the toxic thread with a call to the safe person I will highlight. Replace the private habit with light. Confess it to a mature, trustworthy friend or leader. Replace the extra pour with water and the breath prayer we are building. This is not punishment. This is palate cleansing so you can taste my goodness again. You are not behind. You are being resensitized. Every time the urge spikes, say, "Not my old comfort, my comforter," and step away. I will meet you in the stepping. Instruction 4. Speak alignment out loud. Your mouth is a rudder. It turns ships you thought were stuck. For 7 days, morning and evening, say this with me, slow, like you mean it. I am not behind. God is preparing me and guiding me. I move at His pace. I steward what He gives. I refuse fear's labels. I wear heaven's name. My steps are ordered. My heart is teachable. My hands are open. My timing is surrendered. I go where He goes. If shame tries to argue, don't debate it. Repeat the truth, not as magic, as agreement. You are replacing the script that trained your nervous system to sprint after timelines that were never mine. Let your house hear you speak life over it. Let your car hear it. Let your kitchen hear it. The atmosphere you live in will shift when your confession does. Instruction 5. Make one practical step of stewardship as proof of readiness. Proof to who? Not to me. I see you. Proof to your own heart that you mean what you just said. Choose what the week requires. Build a simple budget so the bag you carry doesn't still have holes. Make the apology that keeps circling your conscience. Send the application you delayed. Book the appointment you've avoided. Set your bedtime alarm and honor it so you stop waking already borrowed against. Clean the workspace where chaos multiplied your fatigue. Write the outline for the project I keep whispering about. Ask the mentor for a 20-minute call. Join the small group you've hovered near. Put an accountability check-in on your calendar with a person who loves me and loves you enough to tell you the truth. One step. Tangible. Visible. Stewardship is worship in a straight line. Now listen to me. Do them in order. Don't remix this into a self-invented program because control is twitching. The power is not in your flair, it's in my sequence. Finish what discouragement interrupted. Sit with me in stillness. Remove a counterfeit comfort. Align your mouth. Take a practical step. 5 instructions. 7 days. Simple. Strong. The enemy is going to call it legalism or too small. He is wrong. This is not earning. This is aligning. I am not a vending machine you must pay with performance. I am a father who meets his child in order, because order protects you. Doors open with order not because I am hiding from you, but because chaos breaks what I am bringing. I am not withholding, I am wise. Here is how the rhythm might look, and I want you to feel the ease in it, not the grind. Day 1, make your list. The last instruction I gave, the stillness window time, the counterfeit comfort you're fasting, the confession you'll say, the one stewardship step you'll take. Write them somewhere your eyes can't avoid, by the sink, on the steering wheel, on the mirror. Then begin. Day 2 through 6. Repeat the rhythm. Chip away at the finish you owe your past self. Keep the window, keep the fast, keep the confession. Take micro steps in that stewardship action. Micro steps count. 5 minutes counts. 1 email counts. 1 drawer cleared counts. Day 7 review. Not with a critic's red pen, with a witness's gratitude. What shifted? Where did peace show up? Where did the urge to run to the old comfort die quicker? What sentence landed in stillness? What completion did you achieve, even if partial? Write it down. Thanksgiving is fuel. Expect resistance and recognize it for what it is, a sign that you are no longer available for the old masters. When the voice says, skip today, it doesn't matter, answer, my steps are ordered. When your schedule tries to swallow the stillness window, protect it like a doctor's appointment with the only physician who can touch what hurts. When the counterfeit comfort calls you by name, remember, I changed your name. It doesn't fit you anymore. Keep walking. Every yes is a brick. Every no to what I did not author is mortar. A wall of strength is forming in you quietly. To the one who says, but what if I fail on day 3? Hear me, this is not a pass/fail exam. This is a table set every day. If you miss a sitting, do not spiral. Return. Order is not brittle. It is merciful. I am more interested in your turnings than your tally. I delight every time you choose me over numbness, stillness over spin, completion over comparison, truth over doom. I am building stamina, not scoring you. There will be signs of momentum this week. Some will be interior. Clarity that surprises you. A cleaner yes and a decisive no. Energy returning where fog lived. Some will be exterior, an email answered, a resource released, a meeting scheduled without your chase, A problem untangled with an idea that arrives in stillness. Do not idolize outcomes. Honor the order. I know how to deliver results. You know how to obey. Let each do its part. Finally, hear my heart again so you are not tempted to bargain with me. My favor is a gift. My love is not on a timer, and it does not spike when you succeed. I loved you in the waiting room. I loved you when you stuttered through your yes. I will love you as you walk into the new room. These 7 days are not to make me kinder. They are to make you clearer. Clarity births courage. Courage keeps capacity. Capacity holds blessing, and blessing, in my house, is never just for you. It feeds many. So breathe. Set your 7, write your 5. Begin today, not tomorrow. Say it with me one more time so your soul hears it and believes it. I am not behind. God is preparing me and guiding me. I move at His pace, in His order, with His peace. My hands are open. My steps are ordered. My yes is ready. Good. Now go do the next right small thing. I am with you in every minute of it. Momentum has already started. Stay with me. Don't stand up yet. Let this settle all the way in. We are going to seal this moment so it doesn't leak away when the noise returns. Listen carefully. What you do in the next few minutes is not a formality. It is a transfer. Power is moving. Confusion loses jurisdiction when you step into the light. Shame withers when it cannot hide. Naming is how you hand me the keys. Here is what I want you to do, and do it before you forget how clear this feels. Go down to the comments right now and name the delay. Don't dress it up. Don't explain it away. Name it. Don't be vague. Say, my delay is in my health, lab results, chronic pain, fear of diagnosis. Say, my delay is in finances, debt that won't break, work that won't open. Say, my delay is in calling, confusion, closed doors, fear of being seen. Say, my delay is in family, estrangement, prodigal tension, the conversation that keeps turning into a fight. Say, my delay is in marriage, silence, misfires, distance we don't know how to cross. Say, my delay is in grief, the loss I keep trying to outrun that finds me at night. Say, my delay is in direction, too many options, no green light. Name it. Do not hide it under Christian phrases that sound polite, but keep you powerless. The moment you name it, you take its power away and give it back to heaven. Here is why this matters. Secrecy is soil for snakes. Voices that hiss, it's your fault. You're behind. God is tired of you. When you name it in the light, those voices lose oxygen. They can't coil around your throat when the family of faith is watching and praying. This isn't performance, it's priesthood. You are placing the very thing that weighed you down on the altar where I answer with fire. I am not embarrassed by your honesty. I am drawn to it. I resist the proud performance that says, I'm fine, and I run to the humble heart that says, here it is, Lord. After you name it, write this sentence with it. I break agreement with the label behind. I surrender this delay to God and step into His peace. Simple. Strong. You are not casting a spell. You are changing your agreement. You wore a sticker that fear slapped on your chest. I am peeling it off. Let your words partner with my hands. And then, because you are not the only one heaven loves, scroll and read another person's comment. I will highlight one. You will feel it, the tug, the ache. Don't move past it. Write a short prayer over them. 2 or 3 sentences is enough. Father, meet them in the surgery. Steady their mind. Guide the hands that treat them. Provide what they need. Lord, breathe over this marriage. Soften hearts, renew tenderness, protect their covenant. God, open a door for work. Give favor, wisdom, and honest provision. Jesus, comfort this one in grief. Be near in the night. Turn their tears into seeds that will grow hope. Your words may be the hand on their back that keeps them from quitting today. You are not a spectator, you are family. Ministry is not a stage. It is a thread of yeses woven between strangers who share the same Father. Now I want to lead you into a prayer that seals what we have named. Speak it out loud where you are. Whisper if you must, but let your own ears hear your heart choose me. I will give you words. Let them become yours. Father, I return to you. I repent for striving, trying to force doors open with panic and performance. I lay down my self-made timelines and the resentment I carried when they did not work. Forgive me for calling your training a punishment and your protection a refusal. Heal me where hope has been bruised by delay. Clean disappointment out of the corners of my heart. Lift off the heaviness that settled on me when I thought you were late. I surrender the label behind. I break agreement with fear, with shame, with the story that says I missed my life. I hand you my clocks and my calendars. I choose your pace and your order over my urgency. I choose obedience over outcome. I choose trust over control. Protect me from counterfeit shortcuts, opportunities that flatter but do not fit, voices that promise quick results but ask me to betray my peace. Put a guard at my heart and a filter at my eyes. Make me quick to notice when something shines but is not holy. Give me the courage to say no to what will cost me my soul. Give me courage for simple obedience. Strengthen my yes. When you whisper, wait, I will wait without sulking. When you whisper, move, I will move without apologizing. When you close a door, I will not bruise my hands pounding on it. When you open a door, I will step with reverence and joy. I ask for your peace, the kind that sits deeper than my understanding, that holds steady when circumstances sway. Let it settle into my chest like a weight that anchors and frees. Let it guard my mind when old anxieties try to rehearse their lines. Let it keep watch over my sleep. Let it greet me when I wake. I receive your love again. I receive your timing. I receive your wisdom. I place this delay on your altar and call it yours. Train me, keep me, and use me to feed more than just myself. In Jesus' name, amen. Breathe. Feel that. Even if circumstances have not yet moved, the power dynamic just changed. You stepped out of fog and into light. Peace stepped in because you made room for it. What you named cannot lurk. What you surrendered cannot boss you. What you placed on the altar cannot keep you hostage in the hallway. Now go write your comment if you haven't yet. Name it. Don't be vague. Then find at least one other person and pray the way we just prayed. Short, specific, kind. Let your page become a little sanctuary, a bench where a stranger can sit and be less alone because you showed up. This is how a delay that tried to shrink you becomes seed that feeds many. And listen, do not confuse this sealing with denial. This wasn't denial, it was training. Your heart wasn't ignored, it was instructed. Your life wasn't stalled, it was being architected. The foundations shook because new foundations were being laid. That wasn't destruction, that was construction. And now you know why you're hearing this. Because your season is turning, and heaven wanted you ready. You asked me for meaning, I gave you meaning. You asked me for identity, I called you by your real name. You asked me for next steps, I placed tools in your hands. You are not behind. You are right on time with me. Before you leave this moment, put your hand on your heart and say with me, I step out of confusion and into clarity and peace. Again, slower, like you mean it. I step out of confusion and into clarity and peace. Good. That alignment is not fragile. Keep the 7-day rhythm. Keep soft to my nudges. Keep your confession alive. Keep blessing your brothers and sisters in the comments. This is how momentum becomes a way of life, not a weekend feeling. I am with you in the naming, in the breaking of old agreements, in the stepping. I won't rush you, And I won't leave you. Watch the small confirmations stack. Watch your sleep sweeten. Watch your courage return. Watch doors answer a knock you barely make because I already spoke your name on the other side. Rest now. The seal is set. Peace has instructions for your tomorrow, and I will meet you there.